Blood for the blood gods, goals for the throne of corn. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Once again, it is time for a leg day. Went ahead and used the buffalo bar, decided to ramp up to a heavy single on the box squat. I knew as I was ramping up, once I got to 410, I knew 500 was going to be fairly heavy, and that's okay, mainly because my quads were hurting. So, as I look at this, as I looked at the footage, of course, part of me is like, well, if I get stronger at good mornings, it'll help with that, where I kind of stuck a little on the 500. But I also know it was all quad. And I thought it was interesting, someone commented in the comments, oh, my back hurt watching that. And I'm just like, really? I didn't feel my back. It felt just like a leg press to me. And I guess that might sound funny to people, but I literally only felt my quads. I didn't even feel any pressure anywhere else. Like, I didn't even feel like a real weight on my back. The 500 pounds felt like 200. It just wasn't heavy, and I didn't feel anything in my back. So as I did this, and this one actually felt the quads, and then when I did the 500, on the way up, it felt like a 1 rep max leg extension pretty much. So I didn't really feel anything else. My back didn't feel any strain, nothing. It was purely quad, which also tells me if I want my squats to go up, I just need to keep building my quads, right? So keep doing the leg machines and my squats will continue to go up, right? Because I'm already doing the other stuff. We can talk about good mornings and hamstrings and posterior chain and all of that stuff, but I have a separate day for that, and I'm already going to continue to train it because it'll bring my deadlift up. So for the squatting, we should be realistic. If my quads get bigger, my squat will continue to go back up. And I've set a goal of 550 on a back squat this year, which we know I can always back squat more than I box squat, right? Always, consistently. I've proven that over the years, which is kind of strange. Some people argue that. I'm like, well, you clearly don't watch my channel. You can't claim to know anything about Blaha. I've researched you. Then you know for a fact that I can generally back squat more than I box squat. If you did any research into what I do, then you know that already, right? So, because I proved it over and over on the channel in the past. It's just documented part of what I do. So, over to that, if I get that box squat up, then my back squat will be up, and I know I just need to keep building quads. So I didn't do a lot of volume here, and I'm realizing with certain muscles, I just don't have to have a lot of volume. I've never needed a lot of volume for certain ones. So it almost makes me wonder if I'm not having a bit of overkill on stuff like arms, right? Probably I shouldn't necessarily need as much volume as I do for them. Just train harder. And I may scale the volume back. I'm almost considering tomorrow for an arm day really only doing 6 sets for biceps, 6 sets for triceps, and some forearm work, and calling it quits, and just push them hard. Just push the sets really hard. That's it. Just take them to failure. Certain extensions you can't do as easily to failure. Form can break down and you'll be okay. So it may be the way I need to push with the volumes, because again, the ultra high volumes isn't always necessary. And I get tons of volume because I isolate every muscle at this point. So it's not like my training will not be high volume no matter what I do. Right? It's going to be high volume because I literally am working every angle. But each head of a muscle may not need that much. We're proving it with legs, and I've always been able to do that. Been able to prove it with my lats in the past. So realistically, the quads don't need a lot here. So outside of the max, I just really did 6 hard work sets for quads, 3 sets for calves. And my legs will grow from that. But they were hard sets. So the last rep was slower on all of these. And if you guys couldn't tell, because it was slowing down and I was right at failure, I used the handles to pull myself up. So with this machine, it can be a little hard to spot that. But I personally know that I had to pull up on those handles just a hair. Okay? Versus just draping the hands over. And there's a difference, and we have to understand that difference. You can drape your hands over and use them just for stability. But when I'm getting to around rep 11, right at 12 definitely, that 12th rep, I'm having to pull myself up with the handles a little bit. So I know that I pretty much reached the limit sets, right? Because I can't do the rep without pulling up on the handle. See, I think that's rep 11, so then watch what happens, right? So I have to pull myself up because I can tell the quads are giving out. And that's good. That's what we want. The leg extensions, I took them pretty well to failure. So then I did supersets on the leg extensions with the standing calf raises, right? With the standing calf raises. And some people who are curious know I'm recomping now. I just want to focus on getting bigger and thicker and losing a bit of fat while I do it. I want to get my strength back up while seeing if I can get a hair leaner while doing it. So just body recomposition. So I'm not cutting and I'm not bulking. I'm just trying to stay at the same weight. See if we can recomp a hair or make a little bit of lean gains. And then because the waistline has tightened up a lot, feel like once I fill everything out a little bit more, recomp a little, then I could probably do a little shortcut, strip off a bit more fat and be in a good spot. But yeah, I do need to continue to lose body fat. So I'm not bulking. I want people to think I'm bulking when I say I'm going to work on some lean gains. I am not trying to gain body weight. Okay. So just an FYI. The calf raises, I went ahead and just went with 410 and did sets of 10. The first set looked a little sloppy trying to tap the uprights, but that's okay. These burn like hell and these are hard. And people can dislike whatever of my calves. Oh, there's no stretch, you're just doing them right off the floor. Yeah, that's fine. And I've got calves. These work great. Calves are one of those muscles I find as long as we just get that crazy pump in them and load the hell out of them, they'll grow. They grow no matter what. I think people overcomplicate calf training. They really overcomplicate it. Just load the hell out of them and make sure that you squeeze the hell out of them, right? Make sure that they're just working crazy hard. So for me, when I'm doing the calf raises, I just squeeze them as hard as I humanly can. And then they get a nice pump and my calves keep growing. It's not really that big of a deal. The leg extensions, I went ahead though and I lay back on all of these, and so that I can get that little bit better stretch. But this is a little more of a mid-range. And if you look at, because of the machine I'm using, but I get the deep squat on the belt squat. So if you look at where I miss my squat, not miss, but where the bar slows, right? Look at where the bar slowed off that box. That's a very similar position to where that real tension is on these leg extensions, right? So that's a good thing. I'll get some specificity, carry over, get the quads bigger, get them bigger where I need them, and we'll continue to bring the squat up. But so again, the belt squat and the leg extensions can pretty well build my back squat. Plus, because keeping in mind I'm doing all that back and posterior chain work anyways, with all the deadlifts, good mornings, reverse hypers. So the last set of calves actually I felt like looked and felt the best. I tried to get used to walking this bar out a little bit. And I actually kind of like this bar for them. But then I did a little bit of posing of the legs. You guys see what my legs look like, all the veins. You see the separation there when I flex them. So, I mean, my quads are doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good, obviously. So they can still stand to get bigger for my squat, even though my arms and stuff really need the most work. I almost feel like my pecs need more work too, really. I think I want to try to mess with some decline this coming week. After obviously flat and incline, those are always my primary. I might mess with some decline. Like I want to try it with the camber bar and see if I can get that extra stretch, that extra dynamic to it. Right? I think it would be a good thing. But yeah, legs are definitely looking big. They're looking thick. They're veiny. I get separation when I flex them. So even though my body fat's not perfect, I'm reasonably lean. And I'll get tighter. We'll keep working on getting leaner and tighter. I mean, compared to where I was a year ago, it's just considerable, and I'm actually slightly heavier. I feel like I've lost body fat, but I know my skin is tighter. So yeah, we'll just keep doing what all we've been doing, and then keep this fasted training, this higher volume fasted training in 5-6 days a week. I feel has done a lot for me personally. It's done a lot for me. But again, yeah, so the finish up with the calf raises here. 3 sets, pretty much limit sets. 10's about all I can handle. And just to keep some calf growth happening, because again, it will help with my energy turnover. So again, one more shot of the legs there. And then I did a set of hanging leg raises and called it a day, and I'll do some arms tomorrow. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.